Hello everyone, this is a quick review of the WPL B-24 4x4 and the WPL B-36 6x6 scale trucks. There are not a lot of recent reviews of these trucks, so I've decided this would be a good opportunity to post about my experiences and to help out those that might be on the fence about acquiring one of these trucks or their many other variants. These trucks have been on the market for quite some time now, close to 10 years if not more. The main reason I finally decided to get two of these trucks is that my son and I have radio-controlled aircraft and tanks that are in the same scale. Both he and I thought it would be a good addition to have utility vehicles in addition to the tanks and aircraft to round out our display whenever we have our large club flying events that are open to the general public. I have been apprehensive about buying these even at the low price point, as many reviews from the past have been less than stellar. I finally decided to acquire a couple of them based on the sparse reviews about upgraded electronics that included proportional steering and throttle controls, as well as updated motors and softer tires. It was easier to make the decision as one of my local hobby shops had these in stock. Being able to see the quality of the bodies was what finally sold them to me. The B-36 retailed for $110 US and the B-24 for $90 US. Both of these trucks are 1/16 scale, and when compared to our Traxxas TRX-4M models, they are both indeed larger. The smaller of the two, the B-24, is larger than the TRX-4M High Trail. Both of the versions I got are ready to run out of the box. They came with a transmitter, 2-in-1 receiver, speed controller, what appears to be a 180 size motor, a small microservo, a 2-cell lithium-ion battery, and a USB charger, as well as a few spares including a leaf spring and a spare universal joint. Out of the box, you will need to supply 2 AA batteries for the transmitter and install the mirrors and other small accessories. The best thing about these trucks is the highly detailed plastic bodies. These are perfect candidate for weathering, and I would venture to guess that if you got into this hobby through static plastic models, you would really appreciate the level of detail and attention that is presented. Both of the trucks have LED lights front and rear, which is really a nice touch. They are just on when you plug in the battery, and there is no additional control from the transmitter, nor does braking or turning the steering wheel have any effect on the lights. I would think that at least 75% of the price could be justified in the bodies alone. For those that would want more information to reference, the B-36 6x6 appears to be a scale model of a full-scale Ural truck, particularly the 43024 model, and the B-24 4x4 appears to be a scale model of the Gaz-66 Russian troop transport. Okay, let's get to the driving impressions. One thing that stood out on both of these is that the leaf springs are stiff. The B-36 rear leaf spring is shared by 2 axles using a rocker design, so they look and perform great as shown in the videos. But the front leaf springs only have 1 axle attached. The B-24 suspension was stiff all around, being that each axle is supported by 2 leaf springs. One thing that I did was partially cut the plastic auxiliary leaf springs to make the suspension softer on both trucks. Both of these trucks will go over scale obstacles willingly, and will do so without any complaint. They'll also do some not-so-scale obstacles as well, as shown in the video. The steering servo appeared to be strong enough even when I loaded the B-24's bed with about a half-pound, 500 grams to our metric friends of river rock. In fact, that weight actually made the suspension a little more supple and work more to scale. Top speed is about a walking pace, and that's fine being that these are small-scale utility trucks. Now on to the bad stuff. After about 4 battery packs, or about 1 hour of total runtime over 2 days, the B-36 6x6 burned out its motor. That's the reason I don't have very much in the way of footage for this review. As I took the motor out and examined it, I noticed that the front axle had a lot of friction and was difficult to turn when compared to both rear axles combined. As of the time of this video, I have yet to investigate exactly what components failed or are out of spec. Since I modified the suspension on both trucks to be softer, the other problem that came up was the drive shaft from the transfer case to the front axles would occasionally pop out. This was due to the torque of the tires pulling the axles forward enough that there would not be enough overlap between the 2 halves of the drive shafts, and they simply pop out. They are easy enough to pop back in and will probably never be an issue if the trucks are driven on scale terrain. In conclusion, I do believe that both of these trucks are head turners that can belong both on the shelf just for display or driven off-road with a little bit of care. If you are more inclined to drive these in the same fashion as you would any mini crawler like our TRX4s or Axial SCX24s, then it would be a good idea to upgrade all the electronics or simply detach the bodies and use the chassis from a more capable vehicle so you can have the best of both worlds. Thank you all for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.